Now I'm going to show you common materials that I use in my restorative work. First thing I use is abrasive pads. These are like the 3M Scotch-Brite. These are the gray color, and the reason why I use the gray is because the type of texture and the grit that's on the gray color is the most appropriate, least aggressive, and not too soft. The good thing about using this type of abrasive is that it does not leave any residual particles behind like you would with sandpaper. So it's a much cleaner product to use. Other historically accurate types of abrasives are pumice, and that comes from lava. And then we also have things such as rotten stone and tripoli. And these also come from limestone deposits. And these are various grits themselves. The pumice, this is a 4F pumice, that's the finest pumice you can buy. That's probably the most aggressive of these three. And then following that would be the rotten stone, and then the tripoli would be the highest grit factor. I use artist brushes, and these artist brushes you can buy at your local art supply store or hobby store or craft store. Common item that you might come across and use would be beeswax. Beeswax was the finish that was used quite a bit prior to the use of shellac. And then I use various synthetic brushes. I use these foam brushes, but I don't use them very often, and when I do use them, I use them only for a single use because they do tend to deteriorate very fast in alcohol. So if you use them for shellac, they can pose a problem. If you're using them as a water-based stain, then that's not a problem, and you can use them more easily for that. And then I use, the largest brush I use is probably a 2-inch because it most easily fits through a shellac jar. So as far as size, the largest I'll ever use will be 2-inch, and that would be for a very large project. You can use a 1-inch brush like this, or you can use the artist brushes like these. These brushes here I don't usually use for shellac. These are what they call acid brushes. These come in a 36 pack, and these I use primarily for gluing, so these are my glue brushes. As far as jars, I use canning jars to contain my chemicals and my solvents. This is a quart, this is a pint, and this is a half a pint. So I usually buy these by the flat, a complete flat of each one of these. This is the typical size I use for finishing materials. This, if I'm doing a very large job, this is like twice the volume of this, and this will be good for huge, very large jobs. And for smaller jobs, or sometimes for storing various liquids, I might use one of these three sizes. I carry a large variety of various different types of clamps, and some of these are kinds you can find at your various hardware stores. These with the rubber or plastic ends have the least amount of chance of hurting or harming the wood because they are more forgiving. A C-clamp like this is metal, so metal and wood is never a good combination, so you would have to put something in between the metal and the wood itself to protect the wood from marring the wood. And then here's a couple of these bar clamps, and these are just two of my small ones, and I've got a large collection of them, and it'd be too much to show them all here at one time. But I've got a wide variety of things, and you just buy things as you need it, and you don't have to go out and buy a specific set all at once in the beginning. Other items I'll use are craft sticks and coffee stirrers. These are good for the purpose of stirring. Mixing items, sometimes you might need it to scrape something, so you don't want to scrape something with metal, so you can break off a piece here and use it to scrape. So there's a numerous amount of possibilities that you can do with these craft sticks and also the wooden coffee stirrers. Another thing that I use is cork block a lot of times, and this is good for the backing of sandpapers so that you have a smooth, flat surface. Also, cork block was also used in the process of applying wax for wax finishes. I have a assortment of cups that I purchase. These are just plastic cups like these, and they're good for putting liquids and dry materials in there for various uses.